Hi, in this video, we want to zero in on a use case that we've been working on to develop a commercial routing capability to support COVID-19. So first, we have a process the way we work use cases, right? So we start with the problem and we define the problem. And the problem right now is based on the government actions. Multiple actions have impacted commerce and they restrict resource movement in commerce. It causes confusion, and confusions impact decision. It's a dynamic environment. It involves industry and states, and the information is based on state documents, which are being issued constantly, and they're all different, so they have to be vetted. So all the data comes from publicly open sources, rather, so it's available to anybody. There's nothing really sensitive. And the last piece is we want to look at the solution. So we have centralized the documents in a website that is being used currently, open publicly. So we have vetted those documents and centralized them. And what we're looking at now is we wanted to create a routing app, right? So the routing app will focus on if I want to go from point A to point B, right? And I'm going to go through a number of states that all have different issues going on with regards to restrictions and so forth. How do I know which ones have which restrictions in place, and how do I route through and around those to get to my place the safest? And that's what this routing app does. It's a great capability developed by Idaho National Labs, and DHS, working with the SICE and our states and private sector partners. So the app is going to be a wonderful tool that will allow us to do it. Additionally, we know from experience you can't just do technology. You've got to wrap that in something called training, right? You've got to have training that acclimates people to how to use it. You've got to have training on the liability. You've got to have training so people understand where the data is pulling from, and you got to create a feedback loop, right? So we can go to Rev 2, Rev 3, Rev 4. So this is not just a technology solution. This allows the private sector to really understand how to use the tool, who it's designed for as we go forward. But the use case stays the same, and there could be multiple other products that issue out under this use cases. This could also lead into exercises, certainly planning teams that can work on this throughout. There's a number of other solutions that will come out for this use case, but we wanted to define the problem is how do you move resources in and around states that have sometimes varying policies with regards to COVID-19. So I hope this helps.
Yes, when Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency a couple years ago had a meeting at the governor's mansion in Harrisburg, invited different stakeholders from around Pennsylvania to participate, to start a group that was similar where business and government, private public sector would work together. We came up with the Pennsylvania Endeavor Group. Since then, I've been part of the weekly conference calls, and you really learn a lot by listening what people have to do in their positions that you weren't aware of before, or you understand the impact that they have, both what hinders them and what helps them, and you really learn a respect and cooperation for folks. And that's how I learned about it, and I really enjoyed it, and I think it's been nothing but value to all of us. And just keeping your ears open and understanding and learning, and they're always moving forward, which is they don't spin wheels that often, and that's what I like about the consortium. One of the things that that always comes up at a minor, major, or very large impact is access. And we think about access control on a small scale to a facility or that sort of thing. But one of the things I really found interesting is when utility companies are responding to your state or your area, basically needing clearance to get from one state to another or from Canada into the U.S., and how those delays can have a significant impact on business. major financial impact, life safety impact, a lot of things. And this organization takes that very, very seriously. They make it critical to correct and to increase the flow of access control. So I think access control at the lowest level and at the national level is one of the things that I find that this organization has made a big difference in my understanding and how I can help on a much smaller scale and what they have to endure on a larger scale. How it helps is you develop those relationships and you share information that's sent out, and you develop partnerships that you didn't have before. You have information you haven't been exposed to before, and you share. So you're not engaging someone or an organization for the first time in government. You already have a relationship with them through the consortium, and it's just a way of really balancing out. It's like having good neighbors. You may be physically quite far away from each other, but to me, it's almost like having good neighbors in the countryside. When something goes wrong, you can reach out to each other, share information, share resources, and it's a relationship that's there, a trusted relationship. And I find that things just flow much better, and actually you become on a first name basis with folks that you've never met. It's a facilitated cooperation between private and public sector.